SAINT-JEAN-PIED-DEPORT is a small town in southwest France sitting in the foothills of the Pyrenees Mountains. It would be totally unknown if it weren't for the fact that it's the traditional starting point for the Camino de Santiago, a 540-mile historic pilgrimage across northern Spain. That's why I ended up there anyway.
Okay, so I just got the Pilgrim's Credencial. It's a passport that you use on the Camino.
Normally, my brother and I meet every year for a backpacking adventure.
We've made it to the top of the north rim of the Grand Canyon on January 1st.
But he couldn't do it this year because he got married and needed his vacation time for his honeymoon. So, sad that I'd be walking alone, I decided to head out on the Camino de Santiago by myself, with a plan to walk all the way across Spain to a lighthouse on the ocean.
This is the door to Spain and the Napoleon route. So on to the Pyrenees.
People come from all over the world to walk the Camino, and a lot of them want their Caminos to be inward spiritual journeys as well as physical ones.
I'm doing the Camino because the Camino is happening from here to here. And walking the Camino with so many other international representatives of the world gives me a great deal of hope. And I find myself marveling at the beauty of the common spirit.
I'm not exactly sure why I'm doing the Camino de Santiago. Really, the main reason is just for the adventure. So I'm not sure if I really believe in the transformative aspect of it.
On the first day, I took the Napoleon route, a notoriously difficult 25-kilometer climb over the Pyrenees.
It is pretty tiring. It's straight uphill the whole way. If anyone tells you the Camino de Santiago is easy, it is not. It's quite a view up here though.
And it wasn't long before my fears of being lonely disappeared.
These guys are hiking with me. This is Katie, Monza, and Grant, and Ashley, and we are halfway to Pamplona.
But by day 3, I realized that maybe sitting in an office for 6 months wasn't the best way to train for this trip.
It's a beautiful morning here. This is supposed to be the easiest day so far, so that should help because I have horrible blisters on the bottom of my feet.
I'm on the way to Pamplona. I have 3 blisters that are like pressure blisters on the bottom of my feet, and they hurt like crazy. Like, ugh. Why am I doing this? I mean, if it's this painful the whole time, there's going to be some serious questions that need to be asked about whether I really need to go the full 35 days. But wow, my feet hurt right now.
But I was almost to Pamplona, so I kept going.
So I'm here with Kai, a friend of mine from Germany. We're hiking here through the city of Pamplona. The strange thing about this is that we've been hiking across the Spanish countryside now for days, and suddenly we've just walked right into a huge city, and there's like music everywhere, and it's pretty jolting and strange. But my feet hurt like crazy.
But I was happy I made it there.
We've been having a picnic in the Pamplona Park here with some tasty morsels. Grant, how excited are you about this sandwich?
Oh yeah.
Ashley, are you excited for the sandwich?
Oh yeah.
Katie, how is it? Excellent.
So I'm here in a restaurant here in Pamplona, and as you can see, we've finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers of sangria. Katie, how are you feeling right now?
Amazing.
Yeah, we've been drinking sangria all all afternoon, and suddenly we have more energy than we've ever had in the Camino. We're ready to do a whole other stage this afternoon. Kai, what do you think of the sangria?
It's pretty good.
But in the morning, my blisters were so painful I could barely walk. There was no way I could keep up with Katie, Kai, Mosta, Grant, and Ashley, and they quickly left me behind.
It's the morning of day 4, and things are not looking good for me right now. My blisters on my feet hurt so much. I'm not sure I can hike today. I'm going to start trying to hike and see how far I can get.
One of the things that's really interesting about the Camino is the transitory nature of the relationships that you have with the people that you meet on the trail. You're hiking and everyone hikes at different speeds, so you might meet someone on the trail and you really like them, they seem great, but it turns out they're hiking a lot faster than you, and suddenly you talk to them for 10 minutes and then you walk away ahead of them and you realize that you may never see them again for the rest of your life. But I kept going. My feet hurt so much that I was walking at a quarter of my normal speed, but at least I made it to the next town.
I've only walked half the day today from Pamplona, but my feet just can't take it anymore. The blisters are so bad, so I'm going to stay here overnight, see how that goes. I'm really pissed off and disappointed.
But my foot pain turned out to be a blessing in disguise that day. Stuck in town, I met up with Amelia.
I was really angry yesterday because my blisters were hurting like crazy and I only walked half the day, but I put threads and needles in my blisters yesterday, tried to drain them out. So today I'm here with Amelia, who you can see right there, and we're gonna try to hike and see if my feet work.
Amelia and I walked together through rolling hills, blanketed with thousands of green stalks of wheat, shivering in the breeze. When she told me that she was a medical student walking the Camino to decide on her specialty and to find an American's Netflix password to steal, our shared sense of humor made us best friends almost immediately.
What are you eating?
Oh, you're videotaping this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating a snack pepper. That is something. That's a thing.
How many days have you been carrying that in your pack?
I'd rather not tell.
But with every step, my blisters only got worse.
Things have gotten pretty desperate here in the Camino. We're taking these pads, which are usually used for something else, and we're trying to put them in our shoes to make the blisters go away by reducing moisture. I have no idea if this is going to work, but anything that could work, we're trying.
I'm here with Amelia. I'm at the Centro de Salud, which is the health center here. My blisters have gotten so bad on my feet that I am ready to cut off my feet, but instead of cutting off my feet, I thought I would try going to the Spanish doctor and see what they want to do, especially because I want to make sure it's not infected.
Two nurses fixing my feet, so hopefully I will be able to walk again soon. But boy, it hurts.
While the nurses worked to bandage and clean my feet, the doctor was clear with me about one thing. I had to stop walking for 3 days. It's a pretty sad day on the Camino. Amelia couldn't stop her Camino just because my feet were hurting, so she had to hike out this morning. And so I had to have a sad moment where we said goodbye and I may never see her again. So I meet people traveling all the time, but there is something special about Amelia that I can't quite quantify. There's something pure about her spirit and inspiring about her that made me want to stay with her. So it's
it's really hard to have to say goodbye to her. Even though we only hiked together for 3 days, it feels like we're already very good friends, and the idea of never seeing her again seems terrible. It's very hard to let go of that feeling of not wanting to let people go, not wanting to let people get away. I always have this sense of wanting to say, well, if I never see you again for the rest of your life, it was great meeting you, in a way that's kind of weird and like you can't really say to someone you just met, but you want to, because you want to just appreciate the people in the moment. The Camino really forces you to appreciate that moment, because that moment's fleeting. In just a minute, the person you're talking to will be gone and you may never see them again, and so you just have to relish that moment that you had.
This is the third Camino in 3 years. I'm doing 1,800 kilometers, and that's because of my fiancée. I did the Camino in 2007, and after 1 or 2 days, I met her, and I just saw her neck. I fell in love with her neck. Then I approached her, and we walked the Camino together. So, and then there was no contact in 8 years. Both decided to do the Camino separately. She contacted me on Facebook, so we said, let's see if the feelings are still there, and they are.
After letting my blisters heal for 2 days in Estella, I started walking the Camino again by myself.
Well, it's a different kind of day on the Camino today. I'm the only person I've seen hiking the Camino the whole day, and I'm in tens of miles of wheat fields that just go on forever, and it's a very different experience, which gives me a lot of time to kind of think to myself and relax. I spoke to a man from Iceland, and he has walked the Camino every year, I think for the past 8 years. And he says that every time he does the Camino, he gets closer to his true self. Hiking today through these miles and miles of wheat fields by myself, I can kind of understand how maybe if you just do this a lot, you become more and more at peace with who you are, and you really get to understand what you're thinking and feeling and how that affects you. This is one of the prettiest parts of the Camino so far. I'm the only one out here today because I left very late because of my feet. So it's a little bit lonely, but it's just gorgeous. It's been an extremely long day, but I'm at Logroño, which means 100 miles. I've hiked 100 miles across Spain, which means I only have about 450 miles to go. My feet hurt like crazy, but I'm glad to have made it. So I made a decision. After hiking maybe 20 miles today, I'm still having blister problems, so I've decided I'm going to try for new shoes. I'm going to switch from boots to trail runners, and we'll see what happens.
We are doing the Camino the second time because we forgot how the first time was painful.
Yeah, we are doing this from the sentiment.
And just to be here, because we don't know why we are here, but we know that we need to be here.
So after about a day and a half or two of bad weather, the sun's finally peeking out from these clouds. There's a beautiful lake here just above Logroño, and things are looking up. My new shoes are working way better than my old ones. Oh my God, my feet feel like they're walking on pillows.
My new shoes made it possible for me to keep pace with Hannah and Arnaud, an adorable couple who'd been walking 1,000 kilometers together after starting their Camino in central France. They were clearly in love, and even though they'd been walking for over a month and still had nearly a month to go, their enthusiasm for their journey was infectious.
This is a 5 to 6 week walk across a country, and when a trip is that long, you can't really see the end for so long.
the length of the Camino makes you shift your thinking to just living in the moment and thinking, this is my life now. Walking every day on the Camino is my life, because there's nothing else. You can't see anything else.
After overnighting in Nahara, I joined forces with Australians Christiane and Claire until I received a text message from an old friend telling me to meet her in the next town.
Oh, no, no, I got a love that keeps me waiting. Oh, I got a love that keeps me waiting. 'Cause I'm a lonely boy. I'm a lonely boy.
My reason to do the Camino is just meet new people. Just want to play some songs for myself and to all the pilgrims. And that's why I've got a guitar coming with me. It's heavy though. I see the smiles on people's faces, and it's helped them a lot to get to Santiago. And that really means much to me.
It's the morning of day 13. Last night I got to hang out by the pool, listen to some nice guitar playing. I'm here with Amelia this morning, whose foot was hurt, but now she's going to try to hike for the first time in 2 days.
Reunited, Amelia and I continued together across the Spanish countryside. Soon we reached the city of Burgos, where we decided to take a day to relax.
So I'm here on my rest day in Burgos, and I'm at one of the most beautiful churches that I've seen on this whole pilgrimage so far. We're at the Rice Palace Hotel in Burgos, and I really wanted to have a nice hotel room and some good breakfast.
I'm eating my first donut ever.
In your whole life?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you scared?
A little bit.
Why'd you eat it with a fork?
Because I'm so sophisticated. I'm supposed to do like this.
Exactly. And that is what happens when a Danish girl eats a donut for the first time.
After Burgos, we began hiking across the Meseta, Spain's hot desert highlands. On the way, I began reading a book about a couple on an epic journey whose love is tested when they have to individually recount the most cherished memories of their relationship.
We're about to dip our feet in the magic fountain of Saint-Paul. Apparently, if you do this, all your feet pain goes away.
I joked to Amelia that we had better be sure to have memorable adventures in case we were tested at the Camino's end, like in my book. But we already seem to be well on our way.
Ah, it's so cold, it's so cold, it's so cold, I can't do it, let's stop, let's go home, I don't want to do it anymore. It's freezing, it's like ice.
Come on, you will, suck it up.
I mean, it's fine. It's restoring me to health.
Oh yeah, it feels magic.
Because of the nature of the Camino, people become very close very fast. If you spend a week with someone on the Camino, you can end up spending 70 hours with them, which is a lot more time than I've spent with most of my best friends in the last 6 months.
Along the way, we devised a condiment strategy.
Although there are French fries all over Spain, they're for some reason never served with ketchup, which seems like a big waste and disappointment to us. But now, something very exciting has happened. Amelia has purchased a bottle of Heinz ketchup and has been carrying it with her for miles and miles and miles.
Oh yeah. This is the purpose of fries.
We figured out how to stay in shape.
And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. When you're on the Camino, yep, you're walking about 15 to 20 miles a day, but you gotta keep those arms in shape too. Gotta get in shape. It's the only way I'm gonna make it to the end. on this machine, whatever it is, I need to exercise the muscles that this machine exercises. Oh, okay, well, I think I got it finished. Oh, Jesus.
We found singing nuns. And we celebrated a special milestone.
Halfway! Woo! Halfway! Woo! Cartwheel! Oh, jeez, that's hard. Woohoo!
And all that was before we landed for a sightseeing day in the city of Lyon.
They have ham chips, like Pringles has a flavor that is ham. Everything in Spain is made out of some kind of cake.
I found a store filled with many wonderful things, including this magical hat.
After leaving Lyon, Amelia's dream was to visit the chocolate factory in Astorga, which our guidebook said was open until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So we walked faster than we ever had to make sure we'd make it in time, practically running through the medieval town of Hospital de Orbigo.
Just when my blisters are feeling a lot better, now I sprained my ankle. I think I've pretty much gone through every possible foot injury that you can have on the Camino.
Eating a lightning-fast meal.
We found this little fruit stand. What a amazing treat to have a yummy nectarine and some watermelon. Now we have to head off as fast as possible to get to that chocolate museum before it closes.
And tackling the mountains above Astorga.
What just happened?
We just walked for 30 kilometers and we walked really fast because we wanted to get to this chocolate museum in Astorga that, according to the guidebook we have, is open until 4 on a Sunday. We're here and it's 3 o'clock now and they're closed. They've been closed for an hour. Ah, that is so typical. No chocolate for us.
But I wasn't too disappointed. Creating another cherished memory with Amelia, sprinting across the Meseta over medieval bridges, seemed just as good.
I'm a priest from Denver, Colorado, leading a group of students from Colorado State University. I think we're supposed to have one main reason we know we're walking. Even people who I meet who don't really have faith in God. I heard of one guy who was walking for his wife who was blind, who doesn't really have faith but still hopes for some type of healing. My answer is I haven't internally figured out. I still don't know why the Lord wants me to do it.
I know that a lot of people are doing the Camino because they feel like they're at a crossroads in their life and they're here to figure out which direction to go in with their life or to make an important decision, or they have a huge problem in their life that they're trying to solve. And I feel a bit disingenuous because usually when people ask me why I do the Camino, I say it's because I go on a lot of adventure hikes and this is one I hadn't done yet. But the fact is, you know, my life isn't perfect at all. You know, sometimes I wonder whether the job I'm doing is the job I want to be doing for the rest of my life. I'm not married. I don't have the amount of money I'd like to have. So there's all these open ends and questions about my life.
And I have no idea what to do about them. It's about 4:30 in the morning, and this morning we're off to CRUZ de FERRO, but we're doing it in the dark so that we can see the sunrise from the top of the second highest point, almost the highest point, on the Camino de Santiago. I'm here with Amelia and a man I know only as Sensei.
I'm doing the Camino with 3 other people, and 2 of them I met on the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine, 6 months. And that was 18 years ago. And I'm doing the Camino because I thought it was a good time now, being 58 years old, to decide what I want to do with the rest of my life. So I'm looking for inspiration.
As the sun began to rise, Amelia, Sensei, and I climbed toward the Iron Cross at the top of the mountain with stones in our packs. For centuries, pilgrims have carried the rocks representing their burdens all the way from their homes to CRUZ FERRO, where in a ritual both literal and figurative, they leave their stones and burdens behind before continuing back down.
We've made it to the CRUZ de FERRO, which is the second highest point on the Camino. It was a very nice hike coming up here.
At the top, Amelia told me that our sunrise climb to CRUZ de FERRO was one of the most beautiful adventures of her life. And as we stood together on the huge mound of symbolic burdens, shed by pilgrims on the Camino over thousands of years, it was hard to deny that the mistakes and failures of my own life seemed a little bit smaller. For me, as we began descending the mountain, it felt like the start of a brand new day.
I walked the Camino in 2007 and I never thought I could do it again, but now I'm in a divorce, so suddenly I could. And back then I fell in love with someone from Iceland. And when my divorce was there, Gardar is the guy from Iceland. He came in my head because we fell in love back then, and I found him on Facebook, and then we made an appointment to meet the 5th of May in SAINT-JEAN-PIED-DEPORT, and now we are walking again.
We're being followed by, I don't know, 10 Spanish guys who are singing childhood Spanish songs, which we don't know, but they're very entertaining. And we continue on in the Camino on one of the most beautiful days.
We've had direct, super hot sun for the last 5 days or so, and now it's nice and cool and misty and mysterious. It's like we're in a mysterious medieval kingdom.
So we're at a hotel in Galicia, and it's a crazy rainstorm which turned into a huge hailstorm. You can see huge pieces of hail everywhere.
Despite everything we were sharing together, there was one thing Amelia and I both knew but wouldn't talk about. We were closing in on Santiago very quickly, and our Camino was about to be over.
The Camino is interesting because it structures your life in the sense that every day you wake up just about the same time and you start walking.
Only 100 kilometers left! We've done almost 700!
And you walk for about 8 hours, then you stop, you relax for a little bit, you eat dinner, you go to sleep, you wake up, you do the same thing all over again, you just do it for 5 or 6 weeks straight. As you do it more and more, you start to forget what your life was like before you were doing the Camino.
We are 30K from Santiago, and we're trying pilgrim beer here.
I can't remember what it was like to not wake up every day and walk and walk and walk. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle it when I get back to Los Angeles and my life is completely different. No longer will it just be getting up and walking. It's hard to imagine life not being like that now.
This is it. We're on our way to Santiago. We're going to get there in about 3 hours. This is a very exciting day. There's lots of people on the trail.
It's like, this is Camino Christmas.
The number of people is growing as we near Santiago. We have about 12 kilometers remaining, and we're walking by the Santiago airport right now. We're walking down the street in Santiago.
Okay, I see two towers with crosses on them. So it might be the top of the cathedral.
But we're only just looking at bakeries because the bakeries look like we just are so hungry.
But we can't stop because the pilgrims pass out in half an hour and we have to be there.
We have to get to the mass.
We met a nun in Santiago who told us that she thought the Camino is God's dream for how people should be when they're with each other. And I couldn't help but notice that we were watching 1,000 people all share the best moment of their lives together right before our eyes. To my surprise, the clerk in Santiago didn't even ask us to describe a single cherished memory from the trip.
And your motivations for walking the Camino, were they religious or spiritual?
Spiritual. Ta-da! I have got my Compostela certificate.
But my dream was always to walk to the ocean and lighthouse in Finisterre, a Latin name for the end of the world. And so we kept walking.
So this is it. This is the last night on the Camino. I'm in Alviroa, which is the final stop before reaching Finisterre, and it's just I'm happy to not have to walk for a few days after this, but I'm very, very sad that this trip's going to be ending. It's been an amazing trip, and the only thing I can think about is how do I do this again and again. I can't imagine a life where I'm not doing this as much as I can, because it's just a beautiful night and it's been a beautiful adventure, and I can't believe it's going to be over tomorrow, but I'll make it to the sea and to the end of the world.
So we're walking down the trail here. We've walked close to 880 kilometers, about 550 miles. It's a lot of rain today, but suddenly, woo, we've got to the ocean. Check it out, there's the ocean in front of us. We've walked across all of Spain and we made it to the sea.
I'm not religious, but when I looked out at the sunset with Emilia, I knew that the nun was right about the Camino being God's dream for how people should be when they're with each other, and I was heartbroken that we were about to wake up.